what I have to compare them, I have two different fountain pens. The first one is one that I've made. It's a blue resin, and it's got a fine steel semi-flex nib in the pen. And I want to write and show you the difference between the two different notebooks. And I'm using two different pens, and I'll show you the first one here. Okay, that's it for that pen. This other pen that I have, this is Curly Koa, and this one has a 14 karat 1.1 italic stub nib in 14 karat gold. And I wanted to show you, because this one writes wetter than the fine, so I want to show you the difference between the two pens here. Okay, so that's the difference between the two pens there. One's a little finer, one's a little wetter. I did notice that the fine does tend to write a little bold, just because of the nature of the paper. I do have some feathering on this paper, specifically down here with the thicker. You see all those little lines there? That's a bad case of feathering right there, and it looks like just total garbage. Now Moleskines, they've been, they've got kind of a bad rap for having consistency, and the reason for that is because they don't make their own paper. They source it out to China. It even says it on the back of the Moleskine wrapper here. It says, printed and bound in China, designed and assembled in Italy. So they don't make their own paper. They source it out and get it from different companies, and that's why you get consistency issues. It would appear that I would say that I have a bad one, because this one, I just picked it at random, but this one has got some really bad feathering here, and then if you look at the back, you can see it's bleeding through really bad. It's really dark, and if you were trying to write anything on the back of this page, you wouldn't be able to read it at all. Now, as far as the thickness of this paper is kind of interesting. I explained the thickness and how I calculated it on the comparison between the Moleskine and the Quo Vadis Habana. And so I won't go into too much of that now, but I calculated that this is about 72 gram weight paper, as opposed to the Rhodia, which is 90 gram weight paper. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to compare the Rhodia. I'm going to use the same pens, same ink. The ink, by the way, J. Herbin Eclat de Saphir. Good all-around blue ink, really popular ink. Writes really nicely, has a good color. So I will do the same test. Fine steel semi-flex nib right here. Okay. Now this is the stub italic wet writing nib. There you go. So that's a comparison between the two different ones. You can see here I don't have any, and I mean I don't have any feathering issues going on here with this paper. That's part of what Clairefontaine is really known for, is not having feathering issues. And then on the back, I have a little bit of what you would call an echo. Echo is when you can see what's written on the previous page on the back. And I may have just a tiny hint of bleed through, barely on the back there, but that was really kind of dumping a lot of ink on there. If you're really dumping with a broad nib or something like that, or a double broad, you may have some bleed through issues, but I mean, what the heck aren't you going to bleed through issues with a double broad? So that's the difference between the Rhodia Webnotebook and the Moleskine ruled notebook right there. Now back to my face. Hope you enjoyed my review of the two different notebooks today. I'm going to plan on reviewing even more as we get on, but I thought it was nice to do a side-by-side comparison of the two different notebooks because they are so similar, and a lot of people have requested from me to tell the difference between the two. Before preparing for this video, I had never actually used a Moleskine for myself, and I must say I was just as underwhelmed as most of you have been with their performance. But hey, what are you going to do? Then keep in mind, I sell the Rhodias, I sell Quo Vadis, so of course I'm going to be biased against the Moleskinas, but I'll let you determine from yourself by seeing the review what you think of the two different notebooks for fountain pen use. Now if you're using pencils, maybe that's a different story. Moleskine may be good for pencils, but for fountain pens, which is all I really care about, my money is on the Rhodia. So anyway, thank you for sticking it with me again on this edition of the Ink Nouveau. My name is Brian Goulet, and you can email me at brian@gouletpens.com and tell me if you think that my review is full of crap or whether you think that it's just fantastic. Let me know if you want me to do any other reviews or anything else that you'd like to see done, and I'd be happy to take that into consideration and give you what you like. I'm glad to inspire you and give you good products to help you to improve your writing experience. And I will see you again here next time on the Ink Nouveau.